Africa Global Radio. Our story, our growth, our future.
Headlines across Africa.
You are welcome to Headlines Across Africa. I am Mary Agyepomah-Kissi. Before we begin today's bulletin, I invite you to join me in a moment of silence in memory of Ghana's national gospel music icon, Kofi Owusu-Anto, known professionally as Koda, who passed away Sunday, leaving behind his wife, 3 children, and thousands of adoring fans. May his soul rest in peace. Now in today's bulletin, the British government's intention to send illegal migrants to Rwanda won approval from Parliament, with the assurance of deportation flights beginning in July. Democratic Republic of Congo's chaotic wars for resource control and economic destabilisation rages on 140 years and counting. And BRICS Film Festival concludes today in Moscow by celebrating the 133rd birthday of Russian composer Sergey Prokofiev. British Prime Minister Rishi Sunak held a rare morning press conference earlier today to demand that the Lord stop blocking his key proposal for ending the tide of migrants crossing the English Channel in small boats. To this end, both houses of Parliament remained in session until the bill was approved early this morning. The British government plans to deport Rwanda, some of those who enter the United Kingdom illegally, as a deterrent to migrants who risk their lives in hopes that they will be able to claim asylum once they reach Britain. Despite this milestone, migrant advocates have vowed to continue the fight against it. Whether it is from the firms producing palm oil or from the tech companies profiting from mineral extraction, the exploitation of the Democratic Republic of the Congo's resources has had a dire impact on the country's economy. Recent weeks have, meanwhile, seen civilian casualties soar as increasingly heavy weapons, drones, surface-to-air missiles, and sophisticated assault rifles are used near urban areas, including around Goma, which has received more displaced people than any other place impacted by the war for resource exploitation. With the goal of establishing a monopoly, local communities continue to be prevented from cultivating and trading oil palm, despite the fact that they had produced it long before Belgian colonization 140 years ago. In fact, these plantations followed the rise of the Lever brothers and laid the foundation of what is today one of the world's largest multinational corporations, Unilever. In evidence of the colonial grip on DRC, the land that became the private property of the Belgian king 140 years ago has still not been returned to the Congolese people. Instead, it is now controlled by a US-based private equity fund, funneling profits to 8 high-profile investors, including the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation Trust, and the endowment of several prestigious universities in the United States. Meanwhile, international aid agencies and thousands of host families who have flanked open their doors to accommodate the now 700,000 migrants in Goma are struggling to respond comprehensively due to the insufficient levels of funding, courtesy of the war-driven economic order, bludgeoning any intention for DRC to develop a stable local economic climate. BRICS Film Festival, which kicked off on Friday as part of the Moscow International Film Festival, is in its 8th year. The annual event is hosted by the rotating presidency of the BRICS countries each year, showcasing films from all 8 BRICS countries. Russia will use the occasion to celebrate the 133rd birthday of the great Russian composer Sergey Prokofiev by presenting his opera Betrothal in a monastery. The comic work was created by the composer in 1940 after translating it from English and adapting and creating the libretto. Russia's Ministry of Foreign Affairs has set up the audio-visual cross-cultural event, represent the foundation of a future which rests on the broadest dialogue between the world's multipolar cultural communities. Though the BRICS Film Festival ends today, the Moscow International Film Festival will run until Friday, 26th April. And that is how we end today's Headlines Across Africa. We'll come your way tomorrow with more news right here on Africa Global Radio. I am Mary Agyepomah-Kissi.
For this and more, check us out on africaglobalradio.com. On Facebook and YouTube, Africa Global Radio. On Twitter and Instagram, AF Global Radio.